you can visualize it, if you can hear those sounds and visualize what's happening, it's terrifying. And then lastly, I watched a big name movie that just came out on streaming called The Zone of Interest. Jonathan Glazer is the director, writer-director of Under the Skin, Birth, Sexy Beast.
Makes a movie every 10 years.
Yeah, he's elusive. He's like the spotted snow leopard that only one person's ever seen. This is streaming on Max right now, and it follows the day-to-day life of a commandant in Hitler's SS army. Him and his wife and their 4 children all live in this house that shares a wall with Auschwitz concentration camp. He runs the entire concentration camp. He's the one that basically built it from scratch and implemented all of the death camp. In one scene, he's meeting with a contractor about building a new, more efficient oven that can kill people faster. Have you ever heard the phrase, the banality of evil? You think that the villain is like Dr. Evil hiding in a cave sculpted like a skull or something like that, and he's got this secret lair and stuff, but in all reality, it's just bureaucratic evil people. And they're just like, well, if we were to build, a turntable device on here, then we can be shoveling out the ashes of the remains while new ones are coming in. It's resetting the room twice as fast. And there's that's just one scene of him meeting with contractors about this more efficient oven.
It's like a very sociopathic take on evil, which I find interesting.
The movie can seem boring because you don't ever see any of the atrocities, but you hear them. If you're going to watch this, watch it with headphones on.
Okay.
Which I did, and I think it's almost necessary.
He's up for Best Picture. And he won for Best Foreign Feature.
Oh yeah, you're right, because he made that speech that people were pissed off about.
Do you really want to watch it? Because I've been talking to a couple other people about it, and just I know how it's made, which is the most interesting thing about it from a production standpoint, and the hidden cameras and everything. There was no crew on the set. They would hide the cameras. They would set mics everywhere. There were no artificial lights that the actors could see. The crew was hidden somewhere else, watching it through a monitor, and the actors are just performing. The cameras are very minimal. Almost like setting a play.
That's what it felt like.
And they're just moving around the rooms or the areas.
The actual set is the family's house, and the backyard's a large lot where she's got meticulously chosen gardening. Here's what the lilacs are, and here's what the roses are. But literally on the other side of the wall is row houses of, concentration camp. And then throughout the entire movie, the stacks are burning and smoke's going up into the air.
Oh, that's chilling.
It's very chilling. There's a couple of moments in there that are super impactful, some that are more obvious, but there's things that are much more subtle than that too. At one point, he comes in from outside and he blows his nose into the sink. He shoots a snot rocket into the sink, and it's all caked with soot because the air is full of literally bodies turned into smoke. And
Does he have any guilt?
It's just it's a movie. I mean, I haven't seen it, but from what I understand is that it just presents as is. This was sort of the reality and the banality. It's they're not viewing as going back to the villain thing. They're not viewing it as this they're doing a bad thing.
Right. They're doing their job.
They're doing a job that they were assigned.
So it's not there's not a redemption arc or anything that. It's just a presentation.
Again, there's no redemption arc for Nazis. Well, Nazis don't have redemption arcs.
I'm not saying. Well, that's not true. I mean,
that's not true. The Nazis don't have redemption arcs.
People can change.
So ultimately, did you enjoy it or like it?
I thought it was great. Yeah, it was fantastic. Unforgiven, some people call that Clint Eastwood's greatest cowboy movie. That could not have been made without all of his body of work leading up to that, because he's basically playing this ruffian and roughneck and outlaw, whatever, at the end of his career. I've done terrible things. I've done this. I've done that. And I know it's much more than that. Listeners, feel free to at me. But I didn't really like Unforgiven so much because I didn't have a long relationship with Clint Eastwood's career leading up to this point. Without having seen that, I lose a lot of the perspective of it, and the greatness of that movie was completely lost on me. If you had not seen Schindler's List and Life is Beautiful and whatever other movies, The Boy with the Striped Pajamas, that are about the horrors of World War II, from whatever perspective, or seeing the atrocities of what it is, the Dyer Van Frank, familiar with that concept, Inglourious Bastards. If you don't know any of that, then this movie's going to be the most boring, lame waste of time you've ever seen.
Really?
Because all of the sounds that are happening off in the distance, sometimes loud, sometimes quiet, the burning stacks from these ovens, lighting up the sky at night with orange because it's humans being burned to death by the hundreds in those buildings. If you don't know that that's what you're hearing and that's what you're seeing, it's completely lost on you.
Right.
Your mind is filling in the gaps of all the stuff that you're hearing, the craziness that you're hearing out there, with the most terrible things you can imagine. So it's just told from the outside.
I like that.
Looking in.
So if you didn't go to school and learn about World War II and the Holocaust, I can imagine someone doesn't have context for...
It's mainly like younger viewers or people that just haven't exposed themselves to that yet because they're not ready.
Mm-hmm.
If you just watch this without knowing all that stuff, it's gonna suck. This movie's gonna suck.
What I think is the most terrifying part, the bureaucratic evil aspect of it.
Well, there's a lot of like moments where there's meetings of these commandants and generals or whatever, and they're just talking about what their plans are. All right, we got more coming in. There's twice as many as last month, so we're gonna have to split them up between Auschwitz because this percentage, and these people get 80%, and blah blah blah. And they're like literally talking about how to process their workload,
right?
And how they've met their labor quotas. And it's like these are things.
These are human beings that you're talking about.
These are things that I've talked about in my work, meeting labor quotas or labor goals or whatever like that. But their output is not fixing cars and helping people get back on the road. Their output is murdering Jews by the thousands. And
drop. I really.
Please do not. Please have some sensitivity. But they've built this beautiful house there over the course of years.
Mm-hmm.
He has to be reassigned somewhere else, and he's kind of upset because I built this place with my own two hands, basically. And this house that they've cultivated is their like dream house for their kids to raise their kids in. But it literally shares a fucking fence with Auschwitz.
Yeah, that's.
And she doesn't want to leave. She's like, they're gonna have to drag me kicking and screaming out of this place. She would rather stay attached to Auschwitz because she loves the house and to be the boss's wife, so to speak, with these like Jewish slaves, literally slaves in her house.
Jonathan Glazer is himself Jewish too, the director.
Oh, it's good to know.
Yeah,
I read some interviews about him. It's the whole process behind making the film is interesting. He almost abandoned it because of the sorrow of creating a film like this.
God. Yeah, I can't even imagine.
And it's like, and they're not even showing the things. I just imagine Steven Spielberg making Schindler's List, how harrowing that would be.
Yeah.
The people on the production that are doing it. This is a type of movie that it adds...
Friday night movie.
It really adds to the pantheon of like awareness movies for the Holocaust because who needs to be told about the Holocaust? Apparently a lot of people who still think it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Well, yes.
And still sympathize with the people that did it. Schindler's List is the far opposite side of the spectrum.
The Pianist is another one.
Shocking. The Pianist would be up there with Schindler's List.
Yeah.
And then you have like the funny quadrant, which would be like Jojo Rabbit, and maybe Life is Beautiful. Yeah. And then you have somewhere in the middle, which the zone of interest lies, where it's like, it's not in your face, but use your imagination. It's like reading a book. If you can visualize it, if you can hear those sounds and visualize what's happening, it's terrifying.
Yeah, you can infer.
There's there's like a saying. It's like it's what you don't see, but like hearing can be worse, like because your imagination can just run wild more than what is just presented in front of you.
Yeah, and it lets you come to the conclusions that you come to. There's a lot of unexplained things in here, which begs you to lean into the movie and be like, why did they shoot that in black and white? Why is that shot in thermal or infrared? Scene is taking place at night.
Yeah,
and they don't have any lights on the production. And maybe that one action that person is doing is the only positive of the entire movie.
Yeah. What I've heard is that portrayal of evil in this movie is like something that hasn't really been seen in movies.
It is banal. Their interactions, their conversations. Sandra Huller playing the wife of the commandant is truly evil. She only cares about how all of this is affecting her, and it's been affecting her good because she's got fur coats she's getting from the Jews, she's got diamond jewelry, she's got lipstick, she's giving clothes away to her friends so her friends love her, and they're like, I got this nice dress, I got it from France.
Yeah.
When she means a French Jew that was killed on the camp.
Right.
Oh, they think I actually mean Canada. No.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, it's been unwrapped a lot of thought to me. So that's Zone of Interest.
Very thought-provoking.
Yeah, that's Zone of Interest. That's streaming on Max. Watch it if you dare.
Good sound design from what I hear.
It's very good. Yeah, and if you don't have your headphones in, turn the volume all the way up because the sounds are very subtle.
Okay.
Class dismissed.
I gotta get out of here.
The bell doesn't dismiss you. I dismiss you.
You're free to go.
See you next week.
See you later.
See you later.
That's a wrap.
Great show.